Greetings, this is Spec Ops 56, and today I'm not coming to you from reloading bench number 1 here in the man cave. In fact, I'm not even in the man cave. Today I'm coming to you from my dining room table. That's because my man cave is colder than you know what. So, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing, John and I that is, a 20-plus-year-old MRE. This is an MRE that I bought sometime in the mid-90s. And based on I don't have a date code on it yet. We'll look at it when we open it. But based on the color style of the bag and the menu, which is the number 7 menu beef stew, that puts it somewhere between about 1990 and 1995 production. So this should be interesting. Now I wanted to do this to illustrate the real shelf life of storage food. Now the military puts the shelf life of MREs at 3 years when stored at 80 degrees. Now this is all going to vary depending on storage conditions. Any storage food that you have, its enemies are light and not just heat or cold, but extreme variations of temperature. If you store it in a hot environment, but it's a steady temperature, that's going to be less damaging to your storage food than if you're storing it in something like your car trunk, where throughout the year the temperature varies from 120 degrees inside the trunk to 10 degrees. The variations in temperature extremes are what really reduces the shelf life of your food. Otherwise, keeping it away from excess moisture and away from sunlight is going to help extend your shelf life. Now, there are some signs to look for when you're looking at your storage food. This is whether it's an MRE or whether it's commercial canned goods. And even before you open the container, the first sign you want to look for is bulging, whether it's a can or like an MRE pouch. If the pouch is ballooned up, just inflated like a balloon, throw it away. Because what that is that's the gases that are being given off by the bacteria that's been eating the food that's inside the pouch. The same holds true with commercial canned goods. If you have canned goods that have a bulge in them, then that food is bad. And I'm going to show you an example of that now. This is a couple of cans of Nutrisystem chicken noodle soup that my wife got in one of her shipments recently. Now, you may not see the difference in these two cans right away, but when I turn them over and you take a close look at them, and John will give us a close-up, you're going to notice that this one is bulged. It's bulged about as tight as it can get, okay, as opposed to the bottom of this one where it has the depression here like it's supposed to have. The depression here is bulged out. You can see how it rocks. This food is spoiled. If you see a can like this, throw it away. The only reason I kept this one was to illustrate this point for this video. So now back to the MRE. Now, just because the package is not bulged or inflated doesn't mean that it's still good. You're also going to be looking for a loss of vacuum for the vacuum packed items. You're also going to be looking for off colors, off smells. I mean, most of this is common sense. And I can't tell you how this one's going to turn out. This particular one has been stored in a variety of conditions and places. It's been stored sometimes in closets in the house. It's been stored in a garage. It's been probably stored in the truck occasionally, in a backpack. This particular one is an individual one that I had that's just been laying around. So this has been stored in all kinds of conditions. So I don't really know what to expect. Just looking at the package looks good. The package itself is not inflated. It doesn't appear to have a loss of its seal. And so most of the stuff in here may be perfectly fine. Another thing about storage life of storage food. Over time, the food may lose some of its nutritional value, but it will probably still be good to eat. So this one, as I said, is menu number 7, beef stew. This one was packaged by the Right Away Foods Company in McAllen, Texas. And I don't know the exact date it was packed. We'll find that out when I open it up and get the date code off the individual items. So we're going to reposition the camera now so that you can get a better look at the individual items as I take them out of the package. And then we're going to maybe eat some of them. So we'll be right back. Okay, let's open this thing up and see what we've got. Okay. Alright, first we've got our accessory packet here with stuff that comes in that. We'll put that aside here. Accessory packet. We've got, this looks like peanut butter. Yep, peanut butter. Still feels like peanut butter. Okay. We've got beverage base powder. And I'm not seeing a flavor listed. Got our good old MRE spoon. Pound cake. We hit the jackpot. Got our good old pound cake. Still feels moist. Should be interesting. And we all know what this is. Crackers. Seems to still have a really good vacuum to it. Got the flameless ration heater, which after this amount of time probably doesn't work. And then we have our main entree, the beef stew. Yep, this would be 1994, as best I'm interpreting this particular date code. Looked like the 110th day of 1994. So it is 20 plus years old. So this is what we have now. One thing I noticed is that in the older MREs like this, the brown bags, they didn't give you anywhere near as much food as they do in the current ones. So let's take a look and see what we have in the accessory packet. We have gum, which I expect is probably petrified. Packet of sugar. Good old MRE toilet paper. I'm sure some of you remember that. We have a wet nap. Be interesting to find out if it's still wet. We've got salt, which I'm sure this is going to need. Cream substitute, dry non-dairy. Good old Taster's Choice. Instant coffee. We've got the MRE matches. And we've got the little Tabasco sauce here. It's mighty dark. So, but it's still liquid. So that still might be usable. We'll find out. Okay, well this is the banquet that we're going to partake of here momentarily. I'm going to go ahead and get my tray out. And we're going to heat up the beef stew. I'm probably not going to bother with this this ration heater, although I might try it, see if it still works. I doubt it after this 20 years. They usually don't last that long. I might just go ahead and take this and stick it in some boiling water. But either way, when I've got it done and we're ready to start eating some of this stuff, we'll be right back. All right, I got the beef stew out of the cardboard, and looking at the package, seems to have a good seal. Hasn't lost any of its seal. It's not ballooned up. It looks perfectly fine. The stuff inside doesn't feel hard or anything, so that's a good sign. I decided I am going to go ahead and try this 20-year-old flameless ration heater, find out if it's going to work or not. So I'll do that off camera, and if it starts working, then I'll show that to you on camera. So I'll be right back. Okay, first thing we found out is that 20-year-old flameless ration heaters do not work. So while I've got the main entree heating up in hot water on the stove, we're going to start checking out some of these other items. First, we'll start with the Taster's Choice instant coffee. See how well that held up over the last 20 years. Sounds all right. No real off smell. These were obviously not meant for a large cup of coffee. As you can see, that's about how much you get in the crystals. So I'll have to estimate on the amount of water, but we'll put in the sugar. Good old Domino. Everybody knows Domino sugar. And I don't know how this is. This might not be a powder anymore. Let's find out. The non-dairy creamer. No, it's powder. Don't smell any off smell. Okay, that's how it looks before we brew it. Take some hot water here. Probably about to there. Yeah, there's definitely more creamer than is needed for this amount of coffee crystals. Alright. And lots of the crystals aren't dissolving too well. But they probably won't hurt you. And if you're out in the field, you probably won't care. So let's give it a try. Tastes about like what you'd expect instant coffee to taste like. A little watered down because there was obviously not all the crystals got dissolved. So, all right, John, let you try it out. See what you think.
Tastes pretty good.
Yeah, considering what it is, yeah. It's not bad at all. I could definitely enjoy that after a hard day humping a ruck. So that is that. Now we'll try this beverage base powder, which figured out is great. It still seems to be powdery. A little unusual smell. We'll see. I guess I should have put the water in there first. Oh well. Well, let's see how it turns out. Yep, it looks great. Find out how well it's going to dissolve. Well, it looks like grape drink. Really doesn't have a lot of smell. Let's taste it. Yeah, it tastes about like grape flavored military bug juice. For those of you who have been in the military, you know what bug juice means. That's the military's version of Kool-Aid. All right, John?
All right.
Not bad for 20-year-old bug juice.
Smells pretty good for grape. Tastes on the order of old knee-high.
Yeah, that kind of does, to tell you the truth. So, all right. Well, that's 2 for 2. Now let's try some of the food. First, we'll try the crackers. This still has really good vacuum sealing, so there shouldn't be any problem with this. Yep, heard the escaping air. No real unusual smells. They seem to be intact. I hope I can get them out intact. Yeah. Amazing they survived intact all these years. They have a slight old musty smell, but it's only very, very slight. You see what you think about the smell. Just very slight.
Just very slight.
Almost a yeasty smell. They're basically big saltines without the salt. Still got some crack to them, some snap. Okay. Well, let's try them out plain. Here, you take a nibble and I'll take a nibble. They're perfectly fine.
Not bad at all.
Got the slight stale flavor.
Mm-hmm. But they're edible.
They're edible. They're still crunchy. And I imagine once we put the peanut butter on them, assuming the peanut butter's still good, you won't notice any stale flavor on these. So we're going to do that next. Got the peanut butter. Okay. Sometimes the peanut butters don't fare well, but this, I'm very surprised, doesn't look too bad. It looks like peanut butter. There's no off color. Some of the oil is obviously separated, but I see no off colors. I'm going to taste a little bit of it. It smells like peanut butter. Tastes like peanut butter. Get a little piece here. And bring your cracker over and get you just a little bit. We'll see how that is.
Smells good. That survived. That's good.
Yes, it did. There's nothing wrong with the peanut butter at all. Like I said, it's got some oil separation, but otherwise, it's perfectly fine. So far, this 20-year-old MRE is doing quite well. I'll grab me a napkin. I should have got one before I started this. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is the last item here of food, not counting the entree, which is still heating up in the water, is our pound cake. I'm interested to see how this fared. Like I said, in the package, it feels like it's still moist. I'm not sure what flavor pound cake this is. This the black writing on the dark brown bag doesn't stand out too well, particularly for my old eyes. So let's see what John can make it out.
Doesn't give a flavor.
Then it's probably just plain vanilla pound cake, which is fine because that's my favorite kind. All right, let's. Ah, that's a tough one. Okay. Always a way. Smells a little fermenty, but it looks perfectly fine. Get this oxygen absorber off of it. Yeah, it's not an overwhelming smell. It is kind of crumbly. Take a look and see what it looks like inside. I'd say it looks just fine. For those of you that might have heard the doorbell and noises in the background, that was the mail arriving. So please ignore it. So, how does that smell to you? It's a slightly fermented smell. Probably the vanilla in it did fermented, but not so bad. Let's try a little taste of it. Here, you take a little piece, and I'll take a little piece. You can tell the texture has changed just a little bit.
Yeah, it's more crumbly.
And it's a little. When you get it in your mouth, it gets a little mushier than you would expect pound cake. It was very sweet. Has almost a raisiny flavor to it.
I noticed that.
Which I expect is from the slight fermentation, but
Tastes good.
It's just fine if you were. It ain't your mom's pound cake, but if you were out humping a ruck all day, you'd be real happy to get this. So, of the stuff we've tested so far, I would have to say this one is the one that has suffered the most from the age of the MRE. It's least close to what its original flavor and texture would have been, but it's still perfectly acceptable, perfectly safe to eat. Okay, I'm going to go get the beef stew entree out of the water, and I'll be right back. Okay, now it's time for the main entree, the beef stew. It's good and hot, so we're going to go ahead and I like to knead it around a bit and then try to get it worked down in the bottom of the bag. And there we go. Here's what it looks like in the bag. And seems to look okay. Smells like beef stew. Let's take a look. I need a drum roll here. Well, I have to say, I don't see anything wrong with this. It looks like beef stew. It looks like it could have come out of a Dinty Moore can. I'm not seeing any off colors, not smelling any off smells. The texture seems to be just fine. Got carrots and peas and potatoes, and they still seem to have a firm texture. The meat, nice chunks of meat, still seems to have a firm meat texture. The gravy is normal beef stew, beef gravy, brown color, nothing unusual here. So I'm gonna guess that this is probably perfectly fine to eat. So let's try a potato and a carrot and a pea first. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, the potatoes are firm. Carrot, peas, just like they ought to be. Let's try some of the meat. This could be a brand new MRE. The taste is perfectly fine. The texture of the meat is exactly what it's supposed to be. Time for your spoonful.
All right.
Get your opinion. There's nothing wrong with this 20-year-old beef stew.
It's like it was made today.
It's really just like it's fresh. And the flavor is not bad, but as with all MREs, it can be improved. Let's find out how well the little Tabasco sauce survived. It is still liquid, so that's a good thing, because mostly when they're this old, it's all dried up. Let's see if I can... yeah, just tastes like aged Tabasco sauce. So I think I'll put a little... mix a little in here. Let's see how it goes. Nothing all wrong with this 20-year-old MRE. Everything is tastes like either new, or it has only a slight indication of its age. There's nothing here that isn't perfectly safe and edible. So the point is that food storage shelf life figures are nothing more than a loose guideline. In my experience with both MREs and commercial canned goods, they keep, even under bad conditions, the less than ideal conditions, they keep much longer than what the manufacturer would want you to keep them. And as I say, even if they lose some of their nutritional value, they're still food, and they'll still have some. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and this is going to be my lunch. So I hope that you found this enlightening, educational, maybe a little funny, maybe a little interesting. And I will probably be doing more of these in the near future because I have a lot of old MREs. So until the next one, this is Spec Ops 56 saying bon appetit.
I eat breakfast 300 yards from 4,000 Cubans who are trained to kill me, so don't think for 1 second that you can come down here, flash a badge, and make me nervous.